Hello and welcome once again to another beautiful session here on Meet the Authors, international best-selling authors for that. And today I have beautiful Nikki and Sally with me today, so I'm really excited to be here with you. And today we're gonna take you through a journey of a lot of things. For one, I myself got into publishing thanks to Nikki. Writing. It's when you know somebody who knows somebody, and when the timing is right, the people come into your life. And I think that was almost what, 3 years ago, Nikki, when
Yeah.
we started talking about possibly taking part in a chapter. And after that, I just couldn't stop. I did one book after another one after another one. At first I was scared, and but I did it anyhow, and I'm so glad I did it. So Nikki will tell us more about her stories, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Hello, I'm Nikki Hall, obviously. And Ava's been in three books, international best-selling books. It was funny because she said, there they are. She said, "What are you doing?" And I said what I was doing, and it just kind of put a light or it put a little fire in her. And she said, "What?" And I talked to her about it, and she felt a little insecure at first because it's kind of a scary venture when you know you're on the precipice there and you can make a choice. So I want to talk to you about being there, like embracing the challenge and learning from a place of not knowing, a place of being brave and thinking you want to take that lunge, you want to take that step. So, the first thing you want to do is check, like do a little reality check to yourself for some resilience. Realize some of the setbacks that you've taken and you've survived from, or you've made the adjustments to some of the rejections that you've experienced, like peer pressure or whatever else other kind of rejection, and some of the unexpected obstacles that came into your life. Like there's nothing that you haven't faced already that could impede you from doing this. Like, there's a fearfulness, there's a choice, there's a we're selfless, we don't put ourselves first. These are little things we just have to get over because we are learning how to do that. We are getting back into our own individuality. I think COVID helped push that along when we all had to learn to be alone. It's not fun for some of us. So, all the challenges that you might face to commit to joining Sally in writing a compilation book, you've you've handled already. They just might have a different face or a different feeling to it. So the first thing I want to say to you is sometimes, and I know this is going to sound ridiculous, and all of us are going to say in part of our minds, we're going to say, no, we don't do that. That's ridiculous. And yet another part of us is going to go, yeah, you did that last week. Some of us, we take on a job or we think about something we want to do, and there's something we don't know about that job, and it kind of bothers us or it makes us feel a certain way. We don't even deal with it. We just say, oh, yeah. And then some kind of logic comes in and moves us back, and we put it off. We find an acceptable excuse, an acceptable logic, an acceptable reason not to do it. So I want to hear from Ava and Sally both. And, yeah, when I say it's really worth making the choice, right, ladies?
Most definitely, yep.
Yeah,
And
You know,
yeah,
it, that is an absolute yes. You know, so Sally and Linda, Sally's coming up next. She's excellent with innovation, with problem solving, with helping you go through adaptability. Linda also on the team, she's got a really great mind as far as publishing is concerned. You know, she'll help with self-enhancement, you know, growing a little bit, showing you a little bit of way to do it. And she talks to you. Like I was talking to her about one of my projects, and she just doesn't say, yeah, no, that's no good. She'll talk to you first. She'll tell you, this is the thought, this is the perspective, this is my experience. So let's go from that. If we're a little bit off or we don't know about something. So Linda's there with skill enhancement. They're both there with superior learning habits. You know, so your motivation and your ability to engage exists. Your collaboration is there, and there's a lot of other women that join you, or a lot of other people that join you. And there's an energy and a momentum and that force, and it allows you to engage. And the biggest thing here is finding a place where you want to write and you want to feel trust. You want to feel an openness to feedback. You want to feel safe if there's a little bit of accountability there. You know, you want to, it's a, in one way, it's a big step. It's a little scary. So they're not going to coddle you, but they're going to treat you with respect. So, you know, I did my first book, then I did my second book, then I did my third book, then I did my fourth book, then I did my fifth book, and I'm still going. So it's really worth it. And before I hand it over to Sally, I want to say one more thing as a businesswoman. Every time I published a book, I profited from it. I think there's anybody who has published a book in one way or another can tell you that they profited from it. I profited from it from my own personal marketing. Sally's going to talk to you now. She's going to take over and she's going to talk to you a little bit about publishing, and then she's going to talk to you about marketing. So this is a great foray to get into being an author. A lot of the small business people you see, and you whatever social media you use, there's a fair percentage of them now that have statements of authorship. You should too. It's a good way to go. Okay, so Sally, take us into the rest of it so we know what we're doing.
Well, one of the things that I just want to talk about is getting your story out there. And I think that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to help you to get your story out of your head, onto the paper and then get published. And so other people can benefit from your struggles, from your laughter, from your things that you've been through, and it will help and to help somebody else. I mean, I think that's at the core of who we are. That's what we want, right? We want to be able to help other people. And so being able to write your story, to share your story is going to do that. It's going to help you build your legacy, and it's going to, help you to profit. Your people are going to reach out to you. You're going to get on podcasts or get asked to speak at events because you were an author, or even if you've just written a chapter. I remember the first book I was in, I wrote a small little chapter, and I got invited to be interviewed. I had never been interviewed before. I had never spoken, and all of a sudden people are wanting to interview me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? How do I do this? And I went and did my hair and my makeup because it was all on Zoom. This was during COVID. But the thing is, you start getting that recognizability. You've got those relationships, and you are starting to be seen as an authority in your space because you've written something down and you've published it. So I always encourage people to sit down, write your story out, get it out there, publish it, and see what happens. We have Eva's working on a couple of books. Niki has some books. We have a bunch of books. Whatever story you have in your head, we will have a book. I
Yes.
promise you, we have a book that will fit your story will fit into, and we can help you get that story published and out into the world. That being said, that's not the last step. A lot of times writers are so creative and they're so into their writing that they sit down and they write and they put it out there and they think, okay, ooh, that's it. Now I'm done. But the thing is, people need to know who you are. People need to be able to find you. And so the next step is once you've stepped out of your comfort zone and you've um, uh, published your story. Now it's time to get out there and start marketing yourself. And there are a ton of different ways to do that. But being in a book, no, it is another way too. If you're any kind of a coach or you have any kind of a business, is a great way to get new customers to introduce them to you and who you are. So having that book is almost like a glorified business card to be able to say, here, read my
Mhm.
chapter. You know now more about me. Now, if you want to hire me to be your coach or you want to come into my store and buy my stuff, you know who I am. So that being said, really sitting down and figuring out, okay, what's my next steps and how do I market myself? And that's what Linda and I, we love helping authors. We didn't want to be a publishing house that just publishes a book and then your book and the authors take off and we never see them again because we love these people. We've gotten to
Mhm.
know a lot of them and a lot of them have become really good friends and we want to keep finding ways that we can encourage them to step up in their business to make more money. And so we help them discover ways that they can market themselves. And we have a marketing, we're calling it an action takers author marketing blitz program that we're starting. I think it's June 28th. If you're interested, please reach out to me and I'll send you all the information. It's a 2 hours on a Saturday. There's a small registration fee, but we will sit down and we will show you and help you plan step by step what needs to be done in order to get your name out there, get your book out there, and to be someone that people want to hire to speak at their events, that people are going to pay you to coach them or whatever it is, and or buy your stuff. So so reach out to me if that's what you're interested in doing. You can go to findsally.com or just comment somewhere here when this video is showing and I'll find you. Eva, why don't you talk about some of the stuff that you do?
Um, listening to you ladies, it kind of brings me back 360 to everything I've done with at the beginning. And like Nikki says, it can be scary at the beginning. English is not my first language, so when I started writing at the beginning, yeah, it was a little, scary, but to share a story was another thing. But you know what? You start writing it, you at the same time, I would say also discover yourself on a deeper level because, you know,
Mhm.
like you say, it's in your head, but then you start putting it on the paper. Then you realize you have, yet another thing you haven't discovered about yourself. I'm not saying, I'm like the best author ever, but when I did the second one, I knew more about it. I knew more about how to structure my sentences better. You're learning something new. It becomes exciting. Then, I mean, you can just like, write a book and forget about it, but for me, it wasn't about that. For me, I wanted to expand. I wanted to get to know more people. I wanted to share my stories, not in just one book, but more. And after that, I started doing book signing. In fact, I'm doing another one. Surprisingly, this weekend, I just found out like 2 days ago because people asked me, "Did you want to do another book signing?" I'm like, "Of course, why not?" So you meet people everywhere, all over. You step out of your comfort zone even more. Um, you just don't know who you're gonna meet, where it's gonna lead you, and what kind of amazing people you can meet along the way. So it's like so many things, not just writing a chapter and that's it. And then you push it forward the next step and then the next step and things just open up for you. And that's why I am so grateful to be part of Action Takers Publishing because they're lovely ladies who helped me through my challenges at the beginning, who got me to continue. I love that they have all these amazing suggestions if you have questions because even me, some people ask me, but I don't know what to write. I said, you know what? Just give it some time, talk to us. It'll come to you. Sometimes it doesn't come overnight. Like I remember one chapter, it took me maybe 2 months to write, but it did it bit by bit. Sometimes it just pours out and you're like, wow, that was easy. So, I mean, the opportunities and things are endless. And I couldn't be more grateful to be a part of Action Takers Publishing. I've done a lot of searching. I've done a lot. This community is amazing. So just for that, I'm so grateful. And I get to do so many things, so many amazing things. And I have a lot of guests on my podcast because they want to, speak more about their experiences. So for me alone, it was worth it. And I'll continue doing this. I have two more books coming up. If you like more information, of course, we'll gladly tell you. Niki has a project she's working on. Sally, we all do. We love it
I
so
have
much.
three. I have three now, Ava.
Three. Well, you go, girl.
I know
It's like
I
what
have to quote Sally. It's like eating a bag. It's like eating potato chips. You can't just have one.
Pop
you
it
took
just
the
one
words out
bite.
of my mouth. I was just gonna say that.
That's
Oh
right.
my goodness.
You open up that bag of potato chips.
You're
Uh,
done.
you're done. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've got like 24 under my belt and just less than it's like I think it's less than 4 years that I've been doing this. I started with Linda in 2021. So
That's pretty amazing.
yeah, yeah. And I think about like the person who I was 5 years ago. I don't even recognize her. She would never be doing any of this stuff. So it's pretty cool. You know,
Yes.
things that
That's
I've
true.
learned and the things that I've done um, has been phenomenal.
Yeah, we don't realize how much we actually can do. Like we stay in the bubble sometimes. We're so scared to come out of it. I know I was. And then you discover a whole new world. It's like, man, why didn't I do this earlier? But
Yeah.
at the same time, divine timing, knowing the people and being ready for it too. You don't have to be ready 100%, but when the spark is there, and that's when I, was talking to Nikki, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Man, I have
Yeah.
no idea what I'm getting myself into, but
Yeah.
I'll do it. And
Yeah.
that,
Definitely don't wait till you're ready. It'll never happen.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And sometimes it's good to look back at your growth, and go back and look at, I go back and look at the first time I was ever interviewed or I started doing where I was interviewing people. And I look at those and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so bad. Those are so horrible. And I had no idea what but um, I think I've grown so much and I'm
Yeah.
able to speak so much better, without I would just
Mhm.
read. I would just stand there and read. Even in interviews like this, I had all my notes. I was, anticipating what they would ask and what my questions and my answers would be. Um, but as you keep going, it just gets like Eva said, it just keeps getting easier and easier and easier because you've done it before and um it becomes now old hat.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to, it's good to look back and see how much you've grown
Yeah.
and especially in this when you're in this world, when you first say yes and publish a book and you stick with us. A lot of times people will do it and then they step away or they don't keep coming back. But
Mhm.
I think if you're a growth minded person, as like a self help. I mean, I'm a self help nut. I mean, I was a Tony Robbins girl before Tony Robbins was Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
But I've always been into improving myself and what can I learn and how can I do things more and I think that those are the kind of people who we attract in this company.
Mhm.
So if that's you, this is we are your tribe. So
Yeah. Come join us.
exactly.
yeah. There's many opportunities waiting for you out there, that's for sure. And I'm personally so glad I stepped in. I know Nikki is and Sally, and now we are here sharing it with you because we love it so much and we have so much to give. so much to,
Yep.
you know, present to you. So if you guys want to learn more, please reach out to us. We are here for you. We'll post all the links in this video as well. Until next time, I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and thank you so much for watching today. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.